Okay, it's the second video on how to use MyMaths to get the best out of MyMaths for your learning. Okay, so you've clicked on the link in LearnZone, it's brought us to the lesson. We've got the front page lesson. We've got the lesson title here, which is equivalent fractions. We've got our learning objectives here. We've then got our tabs from 1 to 7, which includes a little apple this time, which, as you can see if you hover over it, it says teaching tool or teacher tool. Okay, these work exactly the same as last time, and what I forgot to mention in the last video was that each page is actually explained here in the index. So page 1 is going to show us how to find an equivalent fraction using a wall, and the tool is saying to build your own fraction wall. So just very quickly, I'm going to use that tool, just have a look at it. If I click on the apple down here, you can see it says use the fraction wall, blah blah blah. How many bars would you like to add? Well, at the moment it's got 1. I can add up to 8 walls. So if I just click on 8 and then press the red button here, I've now got 8 walls. Each one is showing a hole at the moment, but as I change them to halves, or thirds, or quarters, or fifths, okay, I can do this all the way down to 7, 8, to ninths. Okay, now fraction wall is quite useful because you can actually see what fractions are the same size as each other. So for example, if I change them all to halves, okay, change them all to halves, he'll want to know another fraction that's the same size as a half. Okay, well, you can see a third, 3/3 is the same as 2 halves because they're the same size, they're the same length. Quarters, you can see that 2 quarters makes a half. Like you've said before, a quarter is a half of a half. Okay, so you can see there that 2 quarters is the same as a half, 4 quarters is the same as 2 halves. Let's see what else I can find that's going to be the same as a half. So you can see a fifth isn't the same. Oh look, we've got 1, 2, 3, 6, which is the same as a half. We've got 1, 2, 3, 6, which is the same as a half. Or 6, 6 is the same as 2 halves. Let's try one more. We get bored about this. 4/8 is the same as half. They're all the same. They're all equivalent fractions. Okay. That wasn't the point in the lesson, so I'm going to just come off this now. But you can see how we can use the teacher tool to really help us out. So going back to the lesson, I've clicked on page 1. I've now got the next tabs down here to the right and the left, which if I click on, the pages scroll through. It's asking me to do a few questions. So how many 6 are the same as 2/3? How many 6 are the same as 2/3? Well, the fraction wall isn't really helping at the moment. But if I change it to 6, you can see that 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 are the same as 2/3. How many ninths are the same as 2/3? Okay, let's change it to ninths. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You can see 6 ninths are the same as 2/3, and how many 12ths are the same as 2/3? Well, let's just do it to, okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Mark it, get your feedback, all done, all good. Next, just scrolling through the lesson. Okay, I'm not going to read that now, it's just to show you how the lesson works. Page 2, it's asking us to do a question ourselves. Okay, so you scroll through, you can read the question, read the page, take a bit more time than what I've done, I'm just showing you for illustration purposes. Same thing with the next page, you keep clicking next, keep reading. Okay, so. This one, the bottom number is different, but the top number's changed. So we'll scroll through, you see it's exactly the same thing. Okay, we can then use the fraction wall again like we did before. And we mark the questions here, mark it, get some instant feedback. Scroll to question 6, you see this time we've got a game, so we're just going to change these until we get until the time runs out. We just keep rolling through, straightforwards, and then you've got a matching game to finish off. So we can see that the idea was just to pair up the ones that match. So let's have a look for an easy one. We'll start with 4/5 because that's there. Let's try and find one that matches to 4/5. Pressure on the spot. Would be the time I'm really struggling to find one. I think this one, because you times 4 by 9 times 5 by 9, you can see we've got a pair, they match up and it goes. Okay, and at any time you can use your teacher toolkit, you can add lines to help you out. Okay, so that was the second lesson. I think if you really have a good go at it, like I said with all the lessons, if you use them properly and actually use them for learning as opposed to just racing through and getting an online homework done, which I'm not asking you to do, I just want you to use these purely for your own learning. If you do put some time into them, you're guaranteed to learn. They're really good resources, they're really good lessons, and I've not put anything that's too difficult on there, but it will really help you to get your learning up to the standard required for your functional skills and for your GCSE maths. Okay, so I do recommend when you're using My Math Lessons, take some notes, really have a go at it, do your best, make sure you really fully read everything that's on the page, take some notes like I've already said, and just take it seriously, because it's really going to help you to get your learning up. You won't have any distractions, you can listen to music with your headphones in, you can really do the sort of things that you can't do in a classroom. And that's, it's really beneficial to help you learn at the end of the day, and that's what we need you to do, and you need to do it as well. You need to get your grade C, so it's really useful for you to use this tool effectively. Alright, thank you.